Good afternoon, Mike. Thank you for doing this here. When did the Duclair trade sort of come together? Was that fairly quick in coming together, or was that something you guys had talked about? You and Bill talked about for a while.
Over the last couple of days, and we actually talked about him a little bit at the deadline. So, he's a player that I think is brings a little bit of a different element that we don't have here on the roster with his speed and goal scoring ability and the pace of play. So, we had some good intel on him about the character and the energy he brings and all things like that. So, I think it kind of started back at the deadline where we discussed him just a little bit, and it kind of came to fruition over the last couple of days.
What are your expectations for Anthony for the season? Do you figure he fits into your top six pretty easily, I guess?
I would say so. Yeah, I mean, he's someone who scored pretty consistently the last few years of his career, and like I said, he's shown that he can play with play with pace and play with good players and produce. So, I would say he's going to have every opportunity to be in our top six.
Does he? Because he kind of you mentioned it too, but kind of fit the identity of what you want this team to sort of look like in the fall, and is he a player that you maybe look at trying to keep long term? I know he's going into the last year of his deal, but how do you kind of see him fitting in long term, or if that's the case?
Yeah, I mean, it's still kind of early to tell, but it's definitely kind of a feeling out period for us and for him to see if he likes it here and see how the fit is, and for us to see how he fits in with the group. But with his age and like you were saying, the speed he plays with, we want to get faster, and we obviously need to replace some goal scoring with Timo gone. So he checks a lot of boxes for us. So he is someone that could grow with us down the road. But like you said, we'll have to see how it goes, and we'll kind of cross that bridge when we get there.
I got a couple other questions, but I'll step aside after this one. But your goaltending right now with McKenzie and Capo, is that the tandem you figure to have going into camp?
At this point, that's the plan. I think competition is a good thing. I've seen Blackie at his best probably in Jersey, and he's a goalie with a lot of potential, super athletic and big. And there's not too many goalies in the league that have the athletic traits that he does and the ability that he does. So, we're excited to have him and to get him healthy and ready for camp and have him compete with Capo for the job. And I got to give Capo a lot of credit. He's putting in the work and committed to make some of the changes that he and Spearsy and Nabby kind of started implementing at midway through the season. I think he's continuing to work on that in the summer and put in the time to get better and kind of refine his game. So I think it'll be a good competition for those two. And like I said, it's I think competition makes everyone in the organization better.
All right, thank you.
Chang?
Hey, Mike, thanks for doing this. On the question with McKenzie, he's dealt with a decent number of injuries the last couple of years. Are you feeling pretty confident about his health?
Yeah, we are. We checked his medicals, and I talked to Blackie soon after the trade was made, and he's doing great. He feels like he's had some bad luck with some injuries, but I think he's someone who, when you guys meet him, you'll see he takes good care of his body. About his nutrition is pretty high on the list for him, what he's putting into his body and things like that. And I think he's gone into yoga and Pilates more over the last couple of years to kind of help with his hopefully avoid some of those soft tissue injuries that he's had. So we're pretty confident that he'll be in a good spot here when camp starts, and I know he's excited and in a good frame of mind.
Looking at the Kyle Burrow's contract, couldn't help but draw a comparison with the Matt Benning contract from last year. Longer contract of term, and Matt obviously worked out well for you guys in terms of having maybe more upside than maybe people thought, played more minutes than he had before in his career. Can you kind of see Kyle in sort of the same vein, kind of stepping up and playing more and being counted on more than maybe he has been for some of his career?
Absolutely. I think, Kyle has a lot of these characteristics that we're looking to bring into the organization. And, Quinny and the staff did a good job, and the players did a good job buying in and kind of building things up here. And, in changing the mood and the culture around the dressing room. And I think Kyle's someone who will come in and will help with that and help us keep building and growing the culture. So, he's going to get probably, like you were saying, a pretty good opportunity to grow his game. And, he's got a lot of intangibles that he's kind of someone who's, fought the odds all the way up. And now he's made himself in a full-time, NHL player. And we're excited to have him. And we think he's going to bring a lot to the room.
Can you give us an update in any sort of way of how Erik Karlsson trade is coming along?
No, nothing new there. Sorry.
Can you say if there's closeness or anything like that, or no?
No, there's nothing. It's all quiet at the moment. Nothing going on.
Okay. Thank you, Mike.
Yeah.
JD.
Wanted to ask about Fabian Zetterlund, of course, brought over and part of the Timo Meier trade. How important or how easy was that contract to get done, especially, being one of the qualified players?
Yeah, Pep and I have a good relationship, so we were able to get it done in, a couple of days. I think we're just excited to have Fabian back in the fold and have him have a good summer. And now he's had a taste of San Jose. I think people often forget the human element of the game. And I know for myself, sometimes it can be hard on you when you're traded, physically and emotionally, especially when you're going from your first team to your second team and you're leaving a team that's kind of in the playoff hunt and all that stuff. So I know it wasn't easy for Zets, but he's excited, and we're super excited to have him back and to watch his game kind of grow. So all good on that front.
And then with Kaut, he's the last of your the RFAs that need any kind of the status on his potential contract.
No, we queue out him, and I think we're just waiting to see what's gonna go on there with him. And so we've talked to his agent a little bit, so it's kind of just ongoing discussions.
All right. Thanks, Mike.
Thanks.
Go back to Curtis.
Mike, I know you mentioned last week or just recently that you don't want to block the path of some of the young guys in the organization. You're hoping to kind of see what they can do at the NHL level. Do you still feel that's the case? After the moves made today, that you're still those avenues available to some young guys?
Absolutely. Yeah, there's still definitely room for these guys, and for them to grow. And if they show us they're ready to be NHL players, there'll be spots for them and room for them. We'll make room and make sure they have a path to play and keep growing and producing. So none of our guys are blocked by anyone, and we think that's important. We've brought in some guys to plug some holes a little bit, but we also feel like we have some flexibility to allow our guys to earn jobs in training camp if they show up and they're the better player.
You had, Giovanni and Kyle Burrows too. Obviously, you talked about them. How important was it to bring in those players and just to add that element that those guys can bring?
Yeah, I think their character is important. The energy that they play with is very important. I think we needed a little, at times we felt like we needed a little bit more energy in the room. At the same time, all the credit to the world to the guys for competing and showing up, throughout the season. But there were times where I thought we weren't hard enough or needed to be a little bit harder to play against. And I think Giovanni and Kyle bring a little bit more grit and hardness to the group. So I think they're good adds to what we have here already.
There's been some speculation maybe that teams have inquired about Logan and his availability. I don't know if you want to speak to that, but did you and Logan have a conversation again about whether or not he wants to remain in San Jose as you guys go through this kind of transition process, I guess?
We have not. Logan's everything I'm looking for and the organization's looking for in a player and a person. He did a great job leading the group last year. I know it wasn't easy for him with all the pride he has and the things weren't going well, but he's a great leader for our group. He's a great person, and I'm super excited that he's our captain of our hockey club, and he's here to set the example for our group, especially as we start integrating younger players into the mix.
Maybe kind of the same for Tomas too in that respect.
Absolutely, yeah. I think Tomas he's one of the leaders, someone that all the players look up to. And, I know for him personally, he wasn't satisfied with his season. And I think you probably saw some of the Instagram stuff that's already posted. He looks great. He's putting in the time, and I think he's ready to have a really solid bounce back season and get back to the player we all know he can be.
I know you just talked about Eric there and his situation. Now that the draft's in the rearview mirror, and maybe most of the free agency stuff appears to be finished as well. Do you put more attention or more of your focus onto a possible trade, knowing that both sides are kind of motivated at this point?
I mean, it's something that's kind of continually being worked on. I wouldn't say it'll get more focused now than before, but it's kind of something that we've been working on, and Eric and his camp have been working on, and the teams that have shown interest on that we've had some dialogue. So I think it's just kind of a work in progress here, and we'll keep chipping away at it.
How for you personally, just your second trade deadline as opposed to last year? How is this for you? Maybe just to just kind of take us through your day, I guess, or opposed to last season.
For me personally, I'm probably personally a little bit more prepared. Our staff, I have to give them credit. Last year they did a good job. It was all kind of pieced together. They didn't really necessarily know me or what I wanted, and it was kind of a quick rundown at the draft. And then we basically had one day when we got home to try and get our ducks in a row, and they did a good job identifying guys like Sturmy and Benning, things like that we were, and Luke Cunningham, guys that we were kind of able to add to the group. So those guys did a good job last year. This year I just think we were probably a little bit more prepared, and at the same time we didn't quite have as much to do probably this year as we did last year.
Right. You got started Dev Camp coming up on Tuesday. What do you want to see from these guys or coming in, hoping to make a good impression? What do you want to see from those guys over that camp time?
I just want them to kind of get a little taste and feel of San Jose, let them know and start to feel like they're a Shark and a member of the organization, and to have fun and enjoy it. At the end of the day, this is hockey in July. Some of these kids, especially the kids that just got drafted, have kind of, they probably haven't trained too much. They've been on kind of the circuit between the combine and the draft and trying to enjoy their experiences with their family and friends. So I just want them to come in, enjoy it, have fun. When they're on the ice, compete. But the older guys are the ones that should be setting the example. They know what we're looking for. They've been here before. So I expect those guys to kind of come in and shape and lead the way for our younger guys. But as a whole, just like to get the group together, enjoy being around each other, start building some friendships and relationships, and whatever where the teaching points are for the day, whether that's on ice or off ice, hopefully they can learn a little bit and take that home with them to their other teams.
Is Patty Marlowe going to be putting them to the paces all to date?
I think Patty will be out there, so it'll be good. It'll be good for him. I think Patty's excited. I think I'm excited to have Patty out there, and I think it's great for the prospects too, to be able to have someone like him out there to pick his brain and get some tips and pointers from. And I know he really enjoyed being on the ice last year. I think it was maybe only a day and a half or so. I think he really enjoyed it. So to have him out here for the whole camp this year is pretty big for us.
All right. Thank you, Mike.
Yep. Thanks.
Shane?
Mike, just wondering in terms of yesterday not qualifying, Noah Gregor, what went into that? Noah had a nice finish to the season last year.
Yeah, I mean, Noah did well. I just think he didn't really fit what we were looking for. It was kind of an up and down season for him. He did produce late in the season, but he just probably wasn't necessarily what we were looking for. Good kid. We wish him the best. I'm sure he'll find a landing spot, and hopefully things go well for him.
In terms of what you are looking for, did you kind of touch on it in terms of sort of the pace that a guy like Duclair might bring, or like the sandpaper that Burrows might bring? Are those a couple of the key elements that you're looking for in most of your players?
Yeah, I think that's that's the identity we want to have. It we want to be fast paced and be competitive and in your face and hard to play against hockey team. And I think we've started to kind of lay the foundation for that. So obviously more work to come, but I think we've kind of over the last couple of years we've added some guys that kind of fit the mold and what we want to be.
You also added Ryan Carpenter and Scott Sabrin. Of course, they're on two-way contracts, and so of course they'll be competing for jobs with the Sharks. But if they do end up with the Barracuda, what do you expect them to bring to the Cuda?
Leadership and professionalism. I think they're good solid vets. Play the game the right way. They carry themselves the right way. They practice and train the right way. So we have to kind of keep insulating our young players down there. And let them show what it takes to be a pro now. A lot of those guys last year was their first time going through this in the American League and professional hockey. So we just got to keep surrounding them with the right people, and with those two, we think we did.
And are you on the lookout for anything else particular rest of free agency here?
Yeah, I mean, we'll keep our eye open and see, if there's any bargains out there. I think we'll keep our eye open. I think we're probably set on the back end, but if something becomes available up front or anything, I think we're always open to try and make the roster better and improve the team.
Okay, thank you, Mike.
Thanks.
JD?
With development camp next week, should we expect William Eklund to be there, even though he's rehabbing?
I think Eki will be here. I am not expecting him to be on the ice. He's still rehabbing, but he's coming in to be with the group, kind of get checked out a little bit and get the progress on his rehab. But I think he thought it was important for himself to come and be around the group and keep building these relationships. And I think we're pretty happy with it. It shows the leadership qualities, and I'm not, he wanted to come back and be a part of this, even though he won't take part in the on ice stuff too much, if at all.
All right, thanks, Mike.